When was the last time you thought about the words you say to your spouse? I believe you'll find after listening to this episode why it's potentially the most important thing to consider in your marriage. Hi, I'm Julia Woods, and I'm a couples coach helping couples communicate. So I spend a lot of my time every day listening to the words that couples use and how they talk to each other. And let me tell you, the Hebrew saying, the power of life and death are in the tongue, it's an understatement. I'm excited to give you a gift at the end of this episode that's going to help you actually apply what you're learning here in today's episode. Recently, I was reading about a study that Ikea did for an anti-bullying campaign. And what they did was they set up two identical environments for plants, for lighting, watering, and nutrient soil. And they separated the plants into these two identical environments. And then they had students record themselves in two ways. They had students record the positive, life-giving messages that they had been hearing recently and loved hearing from teachers, parents, and fellow students. And then they had them record the bullying type or the negative death-filled words that they'd been hearing from teachers, parents, and students. And what IKEA did was they recorded a continuous stream of these two varying type messages that students were receiving, and they put them in the two identical environments. And what they found at the end of 60 days is that the plants who had received the stream of negative, death-filled words had a significant difference in appearance. They were wilted and they were rather wimpy in their the way that they looked. And the ones that had received the life-giving stream of words, they were vibrant and they had more foliage. This is powerful. When you think about the power of our words, even on plants, the power of our words makes a difference. How much more is this happening in your marriage? How often do you think about the words that you're saying to your spouse? How many of your words to your spouse are negative? How many are life-giving and positive? Now, I want to invite you to take a challenge right now. I want you to look at the words that you used yesterday. Think about the exchanges you had with your spouse, from your text to your conversations, to your phone calls, to the facial expressions that you gave, because there's a lot of words that can be expressed through our facial expressions. So I want you to think about the words that you said yesterday, and I want you to look at them from the aspect of like if they were paint. And the negative words that you said were black paint filling a can of a paint can. And the life-giving words that you were expressing were white, and they were filling a can to express the level or the amount of life-giving words that you shared. Now, what do you notice? How full is the black can of paint? How full is the white can of paint? John Gottman has done some invaluable research on marriages. And one of the things that he discovered is that there's a magic ratio. For stable, happy couples, the magic ratio is 5-1. There is 5 times more life-giving words offered to 1% of negative words. When you look at your white paint can and your black paint can, is there 5 times more white paint than black paint? Think about that. How are you feeling in your marriage? Are you feeling unhappy? Are you feeling unstable? You have the power to change that. Notice, I didn't say your spouse has the power to change that. You control your words. You are the one that has the power to fill that white paint can 5 times higher than you fill your black paint can with the words that you share with your spouse. You can individually begin to change your happiness and your stability in your marriage by simply looking at your words. Your words to your spouse affect the entire culture of you, your spouse, and your kids. Think about it. The words that we say impact us, impact our spouse, and impact our children. What impact do you want to make? If you want to know more about what I mean, check out my episode titled Why Gratitude is So Important for Your Marriage here on my YouTube channel. I'm going to invite you to do a channel. I'm going to invite you to do a challenge for the next 5 days. I would love for you first to tell me in the comments if you accept the challenge, and two, tell me once you do the challenge what you discover through it. At the end of each day over the next 5 days, I'm going to invite you to put all of your positive words and interactions in one container with your spouse, both spoken and unspoken, and do the same with the negative. Then I want you to measure it. Is it a 5-to-1 ratio? Is it a 1-to-5 ratio, a 3-to-2 ratio, a 4-to-1 ratio? Each day, work to reach a 5-to-1 ratio in positive to negative words and exchanges with your spouse. And then I want you to record what happens. What happens for you, your spouse, and your kids. We each have 100% responsibility for our inner world. And the things that we say come directly out of our inner world. Do you have a positive inner world, or we have 100% responsibility for our inner worlds, and the things that we say come directly out of our inner worlds. When you have a positive inner world inside of you, you're going to express more positive words to the people around you. This is the work that I do. I help spouses grow their inner world so they can communicate their way to a great relationship. I have a lot of resources to help you do that. And one is my free gift that is 100 deeper connection prompts and ideas. If you want to start changing the way you communicate with your spouse, start setting aside intentional times of playing and chatting with each other, and you will immediately begin to change and increase the flow of positive words. If you liked this episode, would you please give it a thumbs up to let me know so? And would you subscribe so you don't miss out on an episode? Let me know in the comments below if you'll accept this challenge. I look forward to seeing you next week.